So when I was growing up, the hairstyles that I wore was straightening hair. I guess that's called press and curl. And I also wore an afro for a period of time and also some cornrows. What were some of the hairstyles you had when you were growing up?
For me personally, it was primarily either a short haircut or I wore an afro in the 70s.
Today we're going to talk about the history of African American hairstyles. I'm Donna.
And I'm Will.
And this is Journey with Donna and Will.
So if you have an oval hair follicle, the hair is generally curly. And if you have a round hair follicle, the hair is straight.
In general, Africans have hair that grows up from their scalp. It's plentiful and it has a lot of body. Europeans have hair that lays flat down on their hair. There is a curl pattern of hair.
So level 1, no curly pattern, straight.
2, a little curly pattern and your hair is wavy.
And 3 is a medium curl pattern. Hair is basically curly.
And 4 is a tight curl pattern and your hair is coily.
Before the 1600s in Africa.
So here are some of the tribes and the different hairstyles that they wore. The Fulani people, who were located in Western Africa, would braid their hair down the center of their heads.
And Tutsi Rwandan men had a crescent-shaped style called Amazunzu.
Suku hairstyles were a basket type on top of the head, and people in Ghana and Nigeria wore this style.
Short shaved hair with turbans, hat in Nigeria, Benin, Mali, and so forth, represented a knight or prince.
Women of Chad used shebe powder, which was made of lavender, cherry seed, cloves, and other ingredients to maintain waist-length natural hair.
Many other styles, twisted locks, Bantu knots from South Africa, the Zulu tribe, cornrows with beads, shells, and even wigs.
So I definitely can see how hair was extremely important. It definitely represented a whole lot of the culture and was very important to the African people as it is important today. So with all the beauty of African hair and the connection and the love of family, what happened?
1620 to 1860s in the southern states.
Where did this negative construct come up?
Well, to begin, the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah, in the transatlantic slave trade, the first thing that they did after they captured the Africans was shave off their hair, which meant everything, which meant their culture.
Even though all are created in God's image, European slave traders and slave owners, both their personal image is good, while at the same time murdering, plundering, kidnapping, and committing other atrocities.
How did they enforce these false narratives, alternate fact, just the lies, with continuous verbal abuse, physical abuse, lynching, intimidation, and legislation?
Malcolm X asked a good question in a 1962 speech. He asked the question, "Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair?"
When the Africans were brought to the southern states in America, they didn't have the natural resources to do their hair like they did in Africa. It's like the natural herbs and oils that were plentiful in Africa. Also, they were tasked to work out in the fields a lot for 10 to 12 hours under the hot sun. And this caused disease because they didn't have anything to moisturize their hair, and they would get ringworm.
So the Africans were very resourceful and creative people. They used things like lard, bacon grease, and goose grease to moisten their scalps and hair.
They also used cheap fleeting combs and cloths to wrap their hair so they could protect their hair while they were working out in these fields. They got familiar with their surroundings. They brought back the hairstyles that they were accustomed to, like cornrows, twists, and braids.
Besides the beauty of the African hairstyles, the hair itself was purposeful.
So the genius of the Africans, they also used their hair to communicate with one another. So besides the aid of the Quakers and the abolitionists, some of the allies, Africans' hair was very purposeful in the ability to escape. They used their hair, the design of their hair, the cornrows in their hair, to map out escape routes and also to send messages to other Africans. Also remembering that they were not allowed to learn how to read or write. So again, they came up with these ingenious ways of dealing with the circumstances they were put in.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
I thought that was fantastic to learn how they used their hair to do maps and also to hide food and grains. So when they did escape, they would have, you know, the gold that they put in their hair, the seeds, and the food. That just touched me when I read about that.
Very resourceful.
Very resourceful.
Yeah. In 1785, Spanish colonial governor Esteban Rodriguez Miro of Louisiana passed a law, the Tignon Law. This law banned black women from showing their hair. It forced them to wear hair coverings or tignon.
You know, they had their hair back again, and here legislating that we can't allow you to show your hair because you're attracting, you know, these men. It seems like some of that's happening today, you know, with the need for a Crown Act. We can't wear our hair and do it. Seems like, you know, African Americans are stylish people. It's innate.
The more things change, the more they seem
to stay the same.
Yeah, it's some of the same issues we're having with African American hair today, unfortunately.
Right. Back to the Tignon Law of Louisiana. The black women made their head scarves look beautiful too. They added beads, ribbons, and jewels.
The one cornrow. Okay. All right. What's the deal with the cornrow?
So you know how my ancestors used this as a map. So basically what I'm telling you is meet me at Johnson and Jacoby Street. You know, bring your cash app. I don't have any money in my hair.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I learned a lot of new stuff about it, especially the hairstyles that were used to communicate with one another and to store hide seeds so that the formerly enslaved people could begin a new life and have some, you know, food and so forth.
Just very resourceful, ingenious. And the style was always there. You know, they tried to take it away, transformed into every generation after. People in Louisiana, they try to stop them. They continue, but it's just innate in there.
Yeah,
very
so
stylish.
The influences and the styles have impacted the whole world. You can just see it all over the world.
Yeah, African Americans and African people are very creative, geniuses, just awesome. Thanks for watching part 1 of the history of African American hair. Part 2 will cover 1880 to the present. So I'm Donna.
And I'm Will.
And this is Journey with Donna.